name is Lauren Ash, and I play the character of Dina in Superstore. Superstore is set in a big box store in St. Louis, Missouri, and it follows all the crazy characters that work there, as well as some of the customers that come in every so often. So it's just the trials and tribulations of some people that work in a department store for a living. Dina is the assistant manager of the Cloud9 store. She is very by the book. She's meticulous. Rules are the most important thing, and rules are there to be followed, otherwise they wouldn't be there. And that's how Dina runs her life, by following the rules, and that's what's gotten her this far. She takes her job very seriously, probably more seriously than anybody else in the store, for sure. You know, every time I get a script, I'm never surprised by what crazy antics Dina is up to next. Yes, she will source crystal meth to prove a point to the employees. She's willing to go the extra mile to get what she needs done and to prove a point, If that requires doing something maybe illegal, but in the end it's gonna make people respect the rules more, she's willing to do that, It's, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of great stuff coming up with Dina. She's, it's never a dull moment, never a dull moment. She's always got a scheme or some way to uphold justice that is really important to her. I would say her number one pet peeve in the world is injustice, both small and large. I read this script and then started harassing everybody in my team. Like, when are you getting me my Dina audition? When is it happening? Yeah, once in a while, you'll read a lot of parts that are right for you, but once in a while, you read one that's, made for you. And I was like, this is it. Just get me in there, I'm ready to go. And they were like, oh, we can't get you directly to the producers. You're gonna have to go in and meet the casting director. And I was like, I don't care. Just put me in there. And I remember I did my first take and she was just like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, you get this. And I was like, yeah, I got it. I got this. So yeah, I was very excited. This is my favorite thing I've ever done, to be quite honest with you. When we were shooting the pilot, David Bernad was like, what's your favorite thing you ever did? And I was like, I know you're gonna think I'm lying, but it's this. I just love her. I think that she's really, really fun. I think audiences will relate to Superstore because even if you've never worked in one, you've probably been to one or can basically understand what one's about. So I think that it's, everybody knows people like this. Everybody knows the crazy, meticulous boss type. Everybody knows the kind of dour, dry sense of humor like Amy. I feel like there's a lot of different types of people that we all know in our normal lives. So it's always fun to see what you know on screen. It's like, I get that. That's funny because I understand it. That's all that comedy is. I don't know if you knew that, but it's just people, actually, all jokes aside, someone once told me that laughter is saying, I understand, which I always thought was really interesting. I was like, oh yeah. The audience wants to let you know that it's like, I understand what you're saying. Which I think is that simple. It's been drudgery, it's hell, we all hate each other. No, I'm kidding. This cast bonded really quickly, to the point that if it went more than a few days without us having a dinner together or a group, we're all in a group chat, we all have a group text. So the other night was midnight, we'd all worked long hours that day and we're on our group text making jokes, who's gonna get a Superstore tattoo? We just really love each other. It's, again, I feel like when I talk about this show, people must think it's ugh, she's being disingenuous, but it's it's just a giant love affair. We really do love each other. So it's been a real joy. Superstore follows the lives of the employees that work in the Cloud9 store in St. Louis, Missouri. Sometimes crazy things happen in this store, and this show is just letting the viewer watch them unfold. My first job was working at the footwear department in a department store. So it was I'm from Canada, so I worked in the footwear department in a store called Zeller's, which is a big box store up there. And after 3 years of tiring of measuring dirty children's feet, I switched to the illustrious role of cashier. And I was a lot happier on cashier. Shorter shifts, and kind of more things to keep you active, that kind of thing. So yeah, that was my job all through high school for 4 years, was working in a store just like this one. So it's really surreal that my first job as a teenager is now led to me being on a show about one of those stores. It's really, it's really creepy. It actually smells the same, which I know sounds so bizarre, but like there's this weird dusty, musty smell. And when I walked in here, I was like, oh my God, like they've even made it smell the same way. It's crazy. I think it's something about the packaging of these things being shipped from overseas or something, but yeah, it's a very surreal experience for me.